We what we do here in Palestine, or as they call it, the land of Israel, is we've returned. We have a legitimacy because we used to be here and now we're back. But that doesn't really stand any kind of serious test either. I don't know any Jewish person anywhere that can trace their roots back to the ancient Hebrews.
I don't know any Jewish person anywhere that can trace their roots back to the ancient Hebrews.
I don't think anybody like that exists. We know Palestinians in refugee camps and elsewhere have the deeds to their land and the keys to their home. I know no one Jew in the world or Jewish family in the world that can do that. So how could we claim that we were once there when we have absolutely no way?
All right, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High Elohim in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. This is the young Hebrew by the name of Shamar Yehuda, a.k.a. Slim Wolf the Jew. And today's lesson will be part 10, Yah willing, of many videos of the Debunking Dummy Doctrine series. And today we're going to go over who are the Gentiles according to the Bible, Old and New Testament, and what lies have they inherited. And another thing most people are confused on is who is a Gentile. It's commonly taught anyone who is not an Israelite is a Gentile. That's not true at all. Or anyone who is not a Jew is a Gentile. Now let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 10, verse 2 through 5. Genesis chapter 10, verse 2 through 5. The sons of Japhet, Gomer, Magog, Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphav, and Togarmah, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their land, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations. Now, when you look at it, chapter, you'll see that Japhet is intentionally listed first, so that there is no, the reason is because there will be no question on who the Gentiles are and their location. A lot of people think, oh, well, the Gentiles aren't really mentioned in the Torah, but when you read this Genesis 10, it'll tell you, And the isles of the Gentiles divided into lands, it wouldn't just have, Japheth's lineage. It would have Shem, Ham. But as you can see, Gentiles are just Japhet. You don't believe me? Let's go to Genesis 10 and 20. The sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations. Let's go to Shem's, Genesis 10 and 31. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Now, another example would be this. Go to the book of Judges, chapter 4, verse 2. And Yahuwah sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. If the Canaanites, Hamites were considered Gentiles, why did the writer of Judges intentionally use the phrase Harosheth of the Gentiles? Why didn't the writer refer to all Canaanites as Gentiles? You know why? Because the sons of Japhet are Gentiles. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 15. It says this. The son in the land of Zebulun and the land of Nephthalim, by the way of the sea beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. Now, Galilee was originally an Israelite land. However, when the Romans or Kittim took over, they seized Galilee, divided into small cities. They colonized the land of Judah, told it was Judea. That's an example. Romans are Gentiles. They originated from Europe and Italy, lineage of Japhet. Last but not least, Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 through 6. And this is a scripture that a lot of these camps like to use to say that Yahushua only preached to the Israelites, and the disciples did that as well. But they also cut themselves because there's a contradiction in their doctrine. They'll say, well, he told us not to go away to the Gentiles, so, any other nation that ain't Israel. But then at the same time, they'll say that Gentiles are people who aren't Israelites, or the Gentiles in the New Testament, or anyone, or the Israelites with a Gentile state of mind. That's not true at all. You can't. It can't be just be. It can't be one set of Gentiles in the Old Testament, and in the New one, all of a sudden it's a whole different set plus the same ones. You know what I'm saying? That's just like saying there's two sects of Israelites. You got the heathens and the Gentiles who had the Israelite state of mind. That don't make sense. Because if that's the case, you can say that the people over there claiming to be Jews today are the Gentiles. Not at all. But without further ado, let's continue. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the ways of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans enter ye not. So he said not to go into the way of the Gentiles. Now, if the Gentiles were anybody other than Israelites, that means they couldn't have went to the land of Ham. They couldn't have went to the land of they couldn't have went to the Japhites. They would just have to stay specifically in the regions where the Israelites were, because some of us were already scattered. We were already beyond the rivers of Ethiopia by that time. Some of us already scattered, weren't even in the land. So they could, and the thing about it is, all 12 tribes, like all the 12 disciples, were one from each tribe. So the 3 that were from the quote unquote southern kingdom, they couldn't have. They would literally have to keep their distance away from the other 9 ones who were from the other northern 9 tribes. If the northern kingdom Israelites were the Gentiles in the New Testament, it don't make sense. They would have just stayed in Israel to teach the Gospels, really. So now that we have established who the sons of Japhet are, and who are the Gentiles, let's go into the lies that they've inherited. But first, let's go to the Bible Hub right quick. Let me show y'all in the concordance right quick that the sons of Japhet are the Gentiles, or that the Gentiles, aka the sons of Japhet, are Europeans. Let's get this. Genesis 10 verse 2. Let's go into the Strong's Concordance. It says this: Japhet, third son of Noah, whose descendants after the flood settled on the coastal lands of the Mediterranean, spreading north into Europe and parts of Asia. Eurasia. And have you ever noticed how the Chinese people, some of them, or the Asian people, kind of look like white people with mongoloid features? Yeah, I noticed that too. So, but without further ado, let's get into some of these lies that they've inherited. The sons of Shem. The sons of Shem. Whitewashing the sons of Shem. Especially one particular divine one, son of Shem. Yahushua, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. As I like to say in my... yeah. And just to clear it up, basically, the people over there, you can say that they're Gentiles with the Israelite state of mind. You can call them Israelites. That don't make sense. I just had to clear that up. Here we go. Perdique de Rabbi Elazar, chapter 24. It's Nimrod in the Tower of Babel. Noah brought his sons and his grandsons, and he blessed them with their several settlements, and he gave them as an inheritance all the earth. He especially blessed Shem and his sons, making them dark but comely. Bless Yah. He gave them the inhabitable earth. He blessed Ham and his sons, making them dark like the raven. He gave them as an inheritance the coast of the sea. Now check this out. Like I said, this is a Jewish rabbi saying this. He blessed Japhet and his sons, making them entirely white, and he gave them for an inheritance the deserts and its fields. These are the inheritance with which he endowed them. So as you can see, sons of Shem, black; sons of Ham, black; sons of Japhet, white. Now, let's go to the Negro in the New World, page 27 through 28, by Harry H. Johnston, a white man who said this about the Israelites, or the sons of Shem. Here we go. There is a Negroid Melanesian element in Fiji, as far west as the Hawaii archipelago, among the Maoris of New Zealand, in as much degree also in Burma and in Hainan Formosa in the Ryukyu Islands in southern Japan. The Elamites of Mesopotamia appear to have been a Negroid people with kinky hair, to have transmitted this racial type to the Jews and Syrians. There is a curliness of the hair together with a Negro eye and the full lips in portraiture of Assyria, which conveys the idea of an evident Negro element in Babylonia. Now, these are all the sons of Shem. Now, let's go down. Let's go into the concordance right quick. We're going to go via concordance this time, dealing with the sons of Shem, Genesis 10. Because I see a lot of people really ain't comprehending something. And the thing about it is, it's widely accepted that the sons of Shem were 10, but they'll never tell you who were the sons of Shem. But they'll say all of Ham was Africa, Now, we got the sons of Shem, Genesis 10 and 21. Strong concordance. Let's get this. Eber, father of the Hebrews. Verse 22. Elam, father of the Elamites. Asher, that's Assyria. Arphaxad, Lud, parts of northern Africa. Lud is in parts of northern Africa. Aram, Arameans, or the Syrian, like it said in the Negro in the New World. Verse 23, the sons of Aram, Uz, Hul. Uz is in the Arabian desert, so we got some Negro-looking people in the desert. And if you look into it, it says Uz is an Edomite, so the land of Uz is an Edomite land. Clear cut to the camps believing Esau the white man. Let's see who else. You got Hul, you got Gether, Mash, black. Arphaxad, black. Let's see. Shelah, black. Let's see. Eber, father of the Hebrews, black. Let's see who else. A Benjamite, son of Iphal, descendant. See, we got Benjamites named Eber. But we're going to get into that. We're going to show y'all a Benjamite whose name actually meant black in the Hebrew. Let's see. And the two sons were born. Let's see what else we got. Peleg, black. And his brother Joktan, black. Almadad, black. Shalef, black. Hazarvameh, black. Jerah, black. Hadaram, black. Uzal, black. Dikla, black. In the Arabian territory. So a lot of those black Arabs come from Shem. Well, all the black Arabs come from Shem. Ishmael too. Obal, Abimael, Sheba. And Sheba was also the name of descendant of Cush, Queen of Sheba. So that's a dead giveaway. Black. Let's see. Ophir, Havilah, Jobab, black. All of that. These were the sons of Joktan. Let's see. What else we got? These are all the sons of Shem in their land. So that concludes that all of them were black. So check this out. All the sons of Ham are black, right? According to Eurocentric Christianity theology. Whether if you're talking to a black Christian, we're all in agreement to it. So if one nation of the sons of Shem are constantly compared to and mistaken for the sons of Ham throughout scripture and history, then shouldn't the other sons of Shem be black as well as the Israelites? So that means Shem was as black as well as Ham. And according to science, you can't get black from white, only white from black. And you can't expect us to believe that all the sons of Shem are white when one of the nations were mistaken for black people. You know, and Shem, Ham, and Japheth were all brothers coming from Noah. If you're going to suggest that they were of Caucasian stock other than Japheth's descendants, like we've established, then you have to explain how they became black without being cursed. You know, and in Eurocentric Christianity, according to them, an all-loving power turned a man and his four sons black because of a curse. I don't know how in anyone's mind can protection from the sun's rays, aka melanin, could be a curse. And if Israel is them fake white Yehudim like they say they are, that means Yahuwah didn't love them as much if he let them have a land where it's the second highest skin cancer rate on earth. There's contradictions and holes in the racist Eurocentric Christianity and theology. Like I said, all the sons of Shem are black. Matter of fact, let's go to Babylon to Timbuktu, page 33 to 35. Let's get that. Let's see. Originally, all Hamites and Shemites were black. Abraham was a black Shemite, a descendant of Shem. The name of Abraham, the name of Abraham was Abram before he was referred to as Abraham. The three Hebrew patriarchs were Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This Jacob begot 12 sons who later fathered the 12 tribes of Israel. Abraham was the father not only of the Hebrew Israelite nation, but also the Arab nation. And if you think about it, all the sons of Eber were Hebrews. So that includes Moab, Ammon, Ishmael. All the sons of Eber were Hebrews. So when people say, oh, we're the biblical Hebrews, that may be true. But what lineage of Hebrews do we come from? We come from Israel, Moab, Ammon. Where we come from? You know? Now, the mother and grandmother of the Arabian nation were black Hamite Egyptian women. The fathers of the Arabian nation were Abraham and Ishmael, who were black Shemites. At a certain time, there were hard feelings between Sarah and Hagar, Sarah's maid servant. So Hagar fled from Abraham's house and dwelt in the wilderness. Josephus, the Jewish historian, wrote that Ishmael married an Egyptian woman. As a result, he begat 12 sons: Nebajoth, Kedar, Abdil, Misham, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadar, Tema, Jeter, Napish, and Kedema. These 12 sons became 12 tribes and inhabited the region from the Euphrates to the Red Sea in the Arabian Peninsula. This country is known today as Arabia. To those who do not believe the ancient Arabians were black, I would like to make one point crystal clear. If your mother and grandmother were black, I am positive that you would have many colored features. That part, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel were all black people. This I shall prove to you by a gradual method. After Joseph was sold down into Egypt as a slave, we find in the 42nd chapter of Genesis that he has become the viceroy of Egypt. Joseph's 10 brothers came into Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, to buy corn because a famine was in the land. All newcomers who came into Egypt had to buy corn from Joseph. But when Joseph's 10 brothers came to Africa, they did not recognize him. They did not recognize him because Joseph had grown up and the Egyptians were black people like the sons of Jacob. Jacob's 10 sons considered Joseph to be another black Egyptian. We know this to be true because the 10 brothers returned and reported to their father. The man who was the master or the lord of the land spoke roughly to us. Furthermore, if Joseph had been white, he would have aroused the curiosity of his brothers very rapidly. That is true. Now let me stop reading for a second. Paul was also mistaken for an Egyptian. You can't say, and the Eurocentric Christians will say, well, the only reason why he was mistaken for Egyptian, just like Moses, was because he had on Egyptian clothing. They're talking about Joseph. Well, Paul came in the times of the Romans ruling, and Paul might have had on Roman clothing. So you can't expect us to believe that Paul was mistaken for Egyptian because he had on Egyptian clothing. By that time, our forefathers was letting go of all the ways of Egypt in the land of Canaan, like the Heavenly Father commanded us to do. So, but all you got to do is just keep reading to see that these Eurocentric Christianity lies are just BS. You know, I'm trying not to use the bad language because this is the Most High's. This is you're supposed to edify people about the truth, especially dealing with the Most High. Let's continue. Jacob's 10 sons considered Salakia. Hold on. Furthermore, if Joseph had been white, he would have aroused the curiosity of his brothers very rapidly. We do not really need any more proof that the Israelites were black, but for the sake of the argument, I will offer it. In many places in the Bible, we find the sons of Jacob and the later Israelites taking black Canaanite women for wives. If the ancient Israelites were not originally black, they would have been after the intermingling with the black Canaanite men and women. When the king Pharaoh of Egypt promulgated an edict to cast all Hebrew male babies into the Nile River, Miriam and her mother hid the baby Moses in a basket alongside the river. Meanwhile, Pharaoh's daughter came down to the Nile to wash herself, and she saw the basket and the baby. Moses, Pharaoh's daughter, knew that the baby was a Hebrew and she adopted him. If Moses had been a white baby, it would have been difficult to conceal him from her father's anger, no doubt. In the period of Moses, the black Egyptians enslaved black Jews. Another point to prove that the Jews were black is the leprosy law written in the 13th chapter of Leviticus and explained in the 2nd chapter of this book. The strangest and most amazing phenomena concerning biblical leprosy was that the skin turned white. These laws of leprosy were given to the nation of Israel, and they could not apply to a white nation. Herbert Wendt wrote in his book, It Began in Babel, all indications point to the fact that Asia was the cradle of the black race, aka Asiatics. And we've already established that the real Asiatics were black. Let's get it. And this is dealing with the most divine Shemite ever known to man. Right here, this next paragraph. It is written in the book of Daniel 7:9. I've beheld till the thrones were cast down, the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool, and his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. The meaning of this verse is as follows. I beheld, thrones were cast down, the thrones were placed down and erected, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The Elohim of the universe is an Ancient of Days who sat on the throne, and the hair of his head like pure wool. Daniel saw an anthropomorphic form of Elohim judging the nations in the appearance of a venerable man with woolly hair like a black man, Daniel the prophet. And the people in his environment, the Babylonians, must have had woolly hair for him to dream of Elohim with having woolly hair. Many Israelites in biblical times intermarried with Canaanite and Hamitic tribes. If the Jews were not black, the Israelites became much darker of a surety after the intermingling. Now let's go to page 76 through 80. Matter of fact, let's just let's start off with let's go. We'll just stop at page 77, not 76 through 80, and then we'll go to page 79. All right, here we go. From what period can we certify the so like here, let me call in and read it. The black African Hebrews of Egypt and Ethiopia. From what period can we certify the existence of black Hebrews in Egypt and Ethiopia? It is certain that the Israelites were in Egypt and Ethiopia during the period of King Takelot of Egypt, about 725 BC. All right, now let's skip up to this line right here where it says, many authorities have agreed that Zephaniah was speaking concerning the Jews who were dispersed and who colonized the region in and around Ethiopia. And let's go to page 79. By the time of the prophet Zephaniah, Ethiopia and the adjacent lands of Uganda and Kenya were swarming with black lands. Let's see. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 9. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 9. And it reads this. Well, 3 verse 10, Salakia. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. So that's talking about the Most High showing that his scattered ones, or his people that are dispersed, are in Ethiopia, or the land of Cush, or the land of Ham. The land of Ham. Yep, they're in the land of Ham. Matter of fact, let's get that right quick. The Jewish Travelers in the Middle Ages, page 154. Let's see. Page 154, Jewish Travelers in the Middle Ages. An old man informed me that he had been in India, which is far east facing Cush, Ethiopia to the west, a sea and desert separating them. Now in India there is a king very mighty and powerful, reigning over the Jews only. The rest of the country is governed by people rejecting every form of belief, peoples who kill no living creature for food. Their adoration is given principally to the sun, moon, and stars. But the children of Moses live upon an island situated near the river Sambation. The tribe of Manasseh live opposite them. Beyond this river are the tribes of Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The tribe of Issachar live in a province occupied by themselves and hold no communication with anyone else whatsoever. And they are marvelously learned in the law, or the Torah. The languages are Hebrew, Arabic, and Persian, and around them dwell the fire worshippers. The tribe of Simeon live to the extreme south. They are too governed by their own kings. The tribe of Zebulun and Reuben live on the banks of the Euphrates, the former on this side, the latter on the farther side of the river. They have the Mishnah and the Talmud. Their languages are Hebrew and Arabic. The tribe of Ephraim live to the south of Babylon. They are a fighting race, warriors who live on the booty they capture, and their language is Hebrew. And as you can see, you got tribes over there. You got some of the tribes over there in India. Now, we've already established on one of my earlier videos, you go down, you'll see the Negro element in India, that the Indians were Negroid, you know. As a matter of fact, when you go there, I'll show you that they had some Israelites in India during the times of Esther. And when you read the Negro in the New World, it'll show you pictures of the Negro element in India. You know? And a lot of people will say, well, the Jews in Ethiopia are converts. You know, if you're mixed, you can't be a Israelite. You know, yeah, that's true. If you're mixed, you can't be an Israelite. And they'll say that those people are mixed. It's not true at all. According to scripture, according to scripture, if you're an Israelite, if you're mixed, you can't be an Israelite, and you're only a proselyte. And according to scripture, a proselyte is a convert. You know, and the fake Yehudim recognize them as the true Israelites. So, and according to science, you can't get black from white. You know, and there's no way on Yah's green earth that 10 tribes are white skinned while just 2 of them are somehow miraculously black. And according to history, a European lady even said that, and I'm gonna bring that out real soon, that that white colors were strange colors to the Ethiopians. So it's an abomination to the Egyptians, like we've established in my Who is Esau video. And in the Septuagint, let's see what the Septuagint says about the looks of the Israelites. They'll say, oh, the scriptures don't point to the looks of the Israelites, but yet and still you got Gentiles who will try to defend that the people over there today are the real Israelites. So if it don't point to the color, why are you saying that they're the real Israelites? See the contradictions? Here we go, Isaiah 29 and 22 in the Septuagint. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah concerning the house of Jacob, whom he set apart from Abram, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall he now change countenance. Now we know in the KJV it says this shall never wax pale, and pale literally means that their faces will never be white. So that means they were black. They were black. And we already know the sons of Ham are black, you know? So, but we're gonna get into that too real soon. But let's get the book of Josephus, chapter 2. Book 2, chapter 7, and section 177. Josephus says this: but upon the whole, I think it necessary to mention those names, that I may disprove such as believe that we came not originally from Mesopotamia, but are Egyptians. Now didn't we just read that the Elamites in Mesopotamia were Negroid people? And that we just read in the scriptures that Elam are Shemites? So Josephus wrote that we came from Mesopotamia, Shem, but these people think we were Egyptian. Interesting. Also, when you go to Matthew 23 and 15, it'll show you that a proselyte is a convert. Now, how the heck you gonna say that they the real? How the heck can a fake white Yehudim, a group of them, say that they're the true Israelites? But yeah, you got another one over here saying that they're converts, and that the only reason why they're Jews is because they're mixed with who they call the true Hebrew blood. Makes no sense. Either they're Israelites or not, but they are the true Israelites according to Scripture. You have to throw the whole Bible out just to prove that these people over there in Israel now are the true Israelites. Let's see. Scriptures. Let's see. Prophecy and Scripture don't match all at all. It just don't. You know. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11. Verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be led from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcast of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Now we already know Negroes are everywhere. Black people are everywhere. They'll say, well, white people are everywhere too. But we've already established that the sons of Japhet are white and they're the Gentiles. Now, but before we go there, let's break this down. Assyria in Africa, Egypt in Africa, Pathros, Lower Egypt, Africa, Cush, Ethiopia, Africa, Elam, I think that's Iran and Iraq, Africa, modern day Persia, Shinar, Africa, Hamath, Africa, and from the islands of the sea, that's the Western Hemisphere over here. Now you gotta show me history and proof that the people that look like the fake white Yehudim came over here in slaves today. Now we know there's a distinction between the Caucasian man and the so-called Jewish man. They're not the same people at all. But as you can, and the thing about it is, the people you see today in the so-called Middle East or Northeast Africa, because there's no such thing as Middle East, we've already established this. They're nothing but European colonizers from Turkey. You know, one of the Gentiles taking the land of Shem. That's what the Most High meant in Genesis 9:27, that Japheth shall enlarge and dwell in the tents of Shem. You know, you may see white people over there in Assyria today, but them walls will show you nothing but black folks. Now let's get another scripture that don't add up with y'all. Matter of fact, let me get that scripture about Gentiles being on the corners of the earth. Jeremiah 16:19. Here we go. O Yahuwah, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our forefathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things where there are no profit. What does it say? The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth. That's all four corners. Clear cut. Clear cut. Now, let's go to Jeremiah 23:5-8. Because according to this, the Messiah is supposed to be here by now. If y'all the true Israelites, let's get this. Jeremiah 23:5-8. And it says this: behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Now that branch right there is Yahusha, the Messiah. And he's going to execute judgment and justice in the earth. Now there hasn't been any justice and judgment in the earth yet, because wickedness is still going on. People haven't paid for their wickedness, not yet. The Most High hasn't uh, rewarded his chosen or his remnant for their works. He hasn't, and their faith. He hasn't. That hasn't happened yet. Here we go, verse 6. And in his days Judah shall be saved. What if the people over there claim to be Jews today? They claim to be from the tribe of Judah, baby. You know. So if they from the tribe of Judah, where are the other 11 tribes at? Well, we've already established where they at, but we're going to get into that real soon. We're going to get some more history written by Jewish rabbis who said where the other tribes of Israel were. And it said, in Israel shall dwell safely. That's the other tribes of Israel. That's the northern kingdom. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the master our righteousness. Now, where are the other tribes and where are they dwelling safely at? Nowhere. Here we go. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that they shall no more say, Yahuwah liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But everybody always say, oh, God saved the children of Israel out of Egypt and this and that and yada, 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 etc. So are they still talking about that? There hasn't been a second Exodus. Y'all haven't been redeemed yet. There hasn't been floods and all that stuff. And it hasn't been Revelation ain't came to pass yet. None of those prophecies that came to pass in order for a second Exodus to happen. And nobody has said this, which is in verse 8. Yahuwah liveth, which brought up and led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, from all the countries where they had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. It hasn't happened. And the thing about it is, verse 5 says that the Messiah shall be walking the earth. Have you seen the Messiah walking around in the earth? I haven't either. My point exactly. But let's go to the Sanhedrin, 94. I believe it's chapter 94 and section 15. Yes, just that. Yeah, 94a, section 15. Here we go. And the Gemara asks, to where did Sennacherib exile the 10 tribes? Mara Sutra says he exiled them to Africa or Africae. And Rabbi Hanina says to the Salog Mountains. To Africae, to Africa. Exactly. Now, here we go. We're gonna go to Jeremiah 32, verse 37. Here we go. It says this. Behold, I will gather them out of all countries whither I have driven them in mine anger. Whither I have driven them in my anger. Salakia. And in my fury and in great wrath, I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. Now think about it. He said he will bring the Israelites back safely, right, baby? Yes. Excuse me, y'all. I'm also over here with my lady Amalia Yehuda, so yeah. Y'all know how that go. So it's these people who claim to be Jews, they're not dwelling safely in the land. It's still war going on Israel. Folks still being penalized for calling people, if they were the true Jews, bywords and proverbs and anti-Semitic remarks like kike, fake Jew, things that Nick Cannon and other celebrities have been penalized for. And, how is that dwelling safely? You know what I'm saying? You still vex the strangers in Israel when the Most High clearly tells us, if you were the true Israelites, which you're not, that you should not vex the stranger. That's in the Torah. That's in Exodus, you know, and they still vex strangers. They call black folks Kushi, which basically means nigger in their language, Yiddish. But we know Kushi means black in Hebrew, but they still mean it in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let's get Micah chapter 4, verse 1 through 3. And everybody say, oh, he's all in the Old Testament. Well, show me any prophecies that have came to pass. Because if all the prophecies in the Old Testament have came to pass, that means the people who live here today are in some big trouble. If you really read the scriptures and you understand, and if all these, and according to what people say about all prophecies have came to pass in the Old Testament, that means the people here today are in some big trouble, some very big trouble, according to the book of Revelation, second death. Now, if we're still here after this, man, y'all need to go on with that madness. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahuwah shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations, see, not many people be flowing to it. You got all these people saying, oh, I hate them dang Jews. You got satanic Jews and all this stuff. Come on now. Ain't nobody flowing up to Jerusalem like that, man. Verse 2 again. And many nations shall come and say, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah. Ain't nobody saying that, man. They too busy having gay parades over there in Israel now, man. That's what the Most High meant by they defiling the land. And then you got Muslim mosque all in the middle of the land. The abomination of desolation. All that crap. Man. To the house of Elohim and Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways. As you can see, I ain't teaching nobody his ways right now, man. That's not happening. We got the scriptures to know that. But not many people cracking their Bibles open and understanding these scriptures. You know. And we will walk in his paths, for the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. The word of Yahuwah is not coming from Jerusalem. All they talking about is how to fund Israel, show love to Israel, be pro-Israel. That's not the word of Yahuwah coming from Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? There's neither Jew nor Greek. You know what I'm saying? And they just keep pushing, oh, show love to Israel, show love to Israel. But it don't make no sense, bruh. You're supposed to love the Most High before you, before anything. Keep his commandments. And he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off. Most High is not rebuking these. Well, he's going to rebuke these strong nations, and he started to do it now. But I'm saying all this stuff in this verse hasn't happened yet. You know, don't take that the wrong way, y'all. I'm not taking no credit away from the Most High. All glory due to him. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But yet and still, we just heard recently that Joe Biden signed executive orders to have a war on Iran. Didn't we just read that, baby? Didn't we just read that there's still wars in the quote-unquote Middle East? All this stuff is still happening. Clearly, those prophecies and scriptures do not fit you. Because if you were the real Jews and that's your real land, there would be peace in the earth. People would no war no more. You are a bunch of liars. And you're going to get recompensed real soon. Real soon. I know you're shaking in your pants because you know it's coming. You know, show me scriptures where it be gay parades over there. People cooking shellfish and pork over there. You know what I'm saying? You got Islam over there want war with Israel. You know what I'm saying? Arabs writing letters to the Jews talking about the Negroes are the real Jews. Come on, man. To the so-called Jews, Salakia. Why is there still Japhetic looking people over there in those lands? Why? But instead, well, you know, and the thing about it is we serve a just master, right? So you just think the Most High just gonna let our slavery go under their nose? He not gonna let that happen. Even if we weren't the chosen people, he'll still look at white people on Judgment Day. Well, why did you beat your neighbor? Why did you enslave your neighbor? Why did you rape your neighbor? Why did you make up all these lies about your neighbor? Yada, yada, etc. And you know what he's going to say most of all? But most of all, why did you do this to my people? We thought the curse was on Ham, this and that. Not necessarily. The curse wasn't on Ham himself. It was on Canaan. And you can't expect me to believe that all the sons of Canaan or the descendants of Canaan are the so-called Negro man, woman, and child today. That don't make sense. You're just a bunch of racist, arrogant bastards who try to justify your wrongdoings. And you ain't going to be justified by your works come Judgment Day. Believe that. Here we go. Ezekiel 36, 24 through 30. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 24 through 30. You reading it out of the Septuagint? You reading it out the Septuagint or not? Oh, okay. Here we go. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. This hasn't happened yet. Not at all. We still amongst the heathen, you know, and bring them into their own land. Not happened yet. But wait, because I saw a news excerpt on the news where they tried to make it seem like all the Jews were returning to their land. That nah, it don't fly like that. Keep reading. I was taught by some elders. All you got to do is just keep reading. Here we go. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you. Ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols, I will cleanse you. Like we just said, you got Muslim mosque in Jerusalem. You got 6-point stars on those so-called Israelite flags in Jerusalem. Gay parades. People still eat pork and shellfish. You still got motherfuckers all about money. You know what I'm saying? That hasn't happened yet. And a new heart I also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. These people, there is no circumcision in their hearts. Still calling black people coochie and nigger. You know what I'm saying? Putting them in the ghetto like Demona and all that. And I will take away the stony heart of your flesh, and I will give you in flesh a heart of you and heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk into my statutes. These Jewish people ain't walking in the statutes. We already know they satanic. They, the 13 bloodlines, Rothschild, Rockefellers, all that stuff. They satanic as hell. Ye shall keep my judgments and do them. Ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. And I will save you from all your uncleanliness. I will call for the corn and will increase it and lay no famine upon you. But didn't we just see how the Israel has the second highest skin cancer rate, baby? Did we just see that? Didn't we just see a bombing in Lebanon last year? We just saw that. But these are the Jews, right? These are the Israelites, though. Supposedly. Just like what baby said, supposedly. Then ye shall remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your sight for your iniquities and for your abominations. Now, didn't we just saw how people were just trying to justify the wrongdoings of the black person in Israel today? Interesting. Verse 30, he said, no more reproach of famine among the heathen. But we see famines all around the world. We got people losing food, everything. People still being robbed and all that. And all the wrong that y'all be doing over there, according to Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26, it tells us that if you were the Israelites, y'all would be expelled from the land and go into slavery. So I guess y'all got another slavery coming. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, these are the Gentile nations, especially the common white man in America, which is Gog and Magog, love to defend them fake Khazarian wannabes in Israel and say that Deuteronomy 28 already happened in 70 AD. But let's get Deuteronomy 28, 46. Let's see what it says. Now we're going to get this in the Hebrew Concordance, like I said. Deuteronomy 28, Hebrew Concordance. And it says this: these curses will be a sign and a wonder upon you and your descendants forever. Forever. Let's see what forever means in the concordance. As far as, even to, until, up to, while, as far as, till, during, to the degree, even like, so that, even, to the point. So that's not necessarily forever, but it's talking about for as long as this world is. That's how long the curses will be upon our people. Now, there's different types of worlds in the scriptures. We've already established this in one of my old videos. The reason why I say it's in my old videos, I want you to go back because I'm not finna go over that right now. I'm tired of repeating myself over and over. That it's annoying. It's annoying. All right. And he answered me. Let's go to Salakia. 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 1, the Apocrypha. 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 1. It says this: and he answered me, saying, the Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few. So in this world, we are under these curses, but the world to come will be the remnant of Israel, curses reversed, and we will be restored back to what we were supposed to be from the beginning. And since we on that subject about the color of Israel, let's get Psalm 7 and 1. Let's get that. And we're going to get it out of the Strongs. A Shiggaion, or a song of David, which he sang to Yahuwah about Cush, or Cushi, a Benjamite. A Benjamite. Let's see what Cush means. Black. A Benjamite mentioned in the title of Psalm 7:1. Cush, a son of Ham. Cush means black, so why would you call a white man black? His name means black. Boom. And since we talking about sons of, we gonna get into the sons of Ham real quick. Just y'all keep listening. Luke 21 and 24. Let's get Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led captive into all nations. Gonna be led captive into all nations. Now, doesn't that sound familiar, baby? Don't that sound like the Most High saying that he gonna scatter us on the four corners of the earth? Now, didn't the transatlantic slave trade go past America? Yeah, Saudi Arabia, East India, all the Middle East, all of that. Now, look, here we go. Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. But according to the camps, it'll be trodden down of the northern kingdom. Since they want to say Gentiles of the northern kingdom until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now, there are people that say Gentiles, anybody who ain't a Jew. Now, if that's the case, how come we don't see Hamitic African people having much power over there in Israel? Exactly. Thank you. The Gentiles are the sons of Japhet. So that lets you know that those people over there today are Japhet. And they'll say, oh, that already happened. No, it did not already happen. Okay? You got to show me what the sons of Shem look like Gentiles. Then Jerusalem will be trodden down by people who look like them. And you got to show me people who look like the wannabe Jews over there going into slavery into all nations. However, me, my lady, and other people can show you people who look just like me and all the other Negroes in America and all across the earth that look like each other, that went captive into all nations, and they're still there to this day. And let's get to that unto this day. Let's get 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 26. We're going to go by these people logic saying that the Jews are already in their land. Now, if you believe this biblical text, y'all need to cut that shit out. Here we go. And the Elohim of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of King Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria. And he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh, and brought them unto Halah, Habor, and Harah, and to river Gozan unto this day. Let's see where let's see Halah. Let's see Let's see that in the concordance. Let's see where that's at. It's pretty much so-called Middle East. It's Northeast Africa. But you know, for the camps, y'all got to show me Black, Hispanic, and Native American people over there. I mean, Native American and Hispanic looking people over there. Let's check this out. Hala, Mesopotamia. So that's Africa. Euphrates and Syria. Hara, a place in Syria. And River Gozan. A Mesopotamian city. That's Africa. So they remain to this day. So Mesopotamia, you got to show me the so-called Jewish people over there being over there in Mesopotamia to this day. However, I bet you I can show you Negroes, though. I bet you. I bet you won't. Bet you won't. All right. You know, we've already showed you witnesses. Let's get Deuteronomy 19 and 15. Here we go. Dealing with witnesses. One witness shall not rise up against a man for iniquity, for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. So we got white people saying y'all not Israel. We even got the so-called fake Khazarian Jews saying y'all not Israel. We even got people, Negroes who woke Israelites. That's already 3 witnesses. You even got Hispanics saying y'all not Israel. Even the ones who know they not Israel and was tricked by the camps. They saying y'all not Israel. So that's 4 witnesses. So we know a matter is established. Y'all own people saying y'all not Israel, man. And going back to the common white man, your own people saying y'all got to pay for the crimes of y'all forefathers. First of all, y'all not doing anything to show that you're sorry for the wrongdoings that have been done to us, even after slavery. And you're not showing that you're sorry on behalf of what your forefathers did to our forefathers. You're not. And let's get Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works, in tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Now, white people would say, well, Revelation 2 and 9 was aiming at the people who claim to be sons of Abraham back then. Now, let's check this out. Let's go to John 8:33, verse 44. Let's see what these people said. We be Abraham's seed and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? Now check this out. There were all kinds of sons of Abraham in the land at that time. You had the Edomites, you had Moab, you had Ammon, all of that. They were all, not sons of Abraham, but all sons of Shem. And Abraham had more sons than just the Israelites, you know. So, you know, you go back to Genesis, it'll tell you that. They weren't claiming to be Jews, though. They were saying they were sons of Abraham who were never in bondage to any man. Here we go. Verse 37. It says this. If I know that ye are Abraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me because my word hath no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and ye do which that ye have seen with your father. And verse 39, it says, they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Yahusha said unto them, if ye were Abraham's children, ye would do the works of Abraham. And there it goes. And, you know, verse 44, it says, you were the father of your devil, yada, yada, etc. But they weren't claiming to be Jews, the Israelites. Well, we got people over there today in Israel claiming to be Jews, and a lot of evidence points to them not being Jews. Let's pull up this article. It says this. Reports find Ashkenazi Jews descended from Turks. And the thing about it is, why the hell do you call yourself Ashkenaz? That's a Japhetic name if you come from Shem. Or they just adopted Japhetic names. They did not adopt Japhetic names. Those are exactly who they are. They're Ashkenaz. Why not just drop Ashkenazi after a while? Why? Because you want to be cool? No. Idiots. Okay, here we go. Persian Jews converted Turks to Judaism to become the rump of what becomes today's Jewish population. DNA research has revealed. The fascinating insight which shows most Ashkenazi Jews descend from Turkey was made possible by the state-of-the-art computer modeling and genetic techniques. The project, led by Israeli-born Dr. Aaron Elahek, even pinpointed Ishkenaz, Eskenaz, and Ashenaz, 3 Turkish villages and ancient Silk Road route which still exists today as a part of the original Ashkenazi homeland. It is the largest genomic study ever carried out on Ashkenazi Jews and shows that most of today's population are descendants of Greeks, Iranians, really Turks and Kurds, not because the real Iranians are black, and others who colonized what is now northern Turkey more than 2,000 years ago. Eliak shows that the locals were converted to Judaism by Jews from Persia, whose empire then home to the world's largest Jewish community. He said the word Ashkenaz likely derives from the Ashguza, the term for Assyrian and Babylonian term for Iron Age Eurasian stipulant people known as the Scythians. You know, if you read Josephus, it'll tell you more about Scythians, how they were Japhet. Concurrent analysis of Yiddish suggests that it was an original Slavic language, which researchers think was developed by Jewish tradesmen traveling along the Silk Roads linking China and Europe 1,200 years ago. It was only when the Khazar Empire began to decline around 1,000 years ago that the Jewish converts headed west into Central Europe, coming in contact with the German-speaking peoples. Eliak and his team from the University of Sheffield published their findings in the scientific journal Genome Biology Evolution say that their works help settle an age-old debate about the origins of the 1,000-year-old Yiddish. Now, I forgot who the author was of this book, but I have it too. It's called, I think it's the Universal Geography or something. But they talk about how the Jews in Persia were black. So, and we already know Persia is modern day Iran, Iraq, and we know Timothy. I think it was Thomas who went there, to speak to the people. So, yeah, they know about the truth. And here's another part right here. It says this. The prevalent views claim Yiddish has a German origin, whereas the opposing views suggest a Slavic origin with strong Iranian and weak Turkic substrata, they say. One of the major difficulties in deciding was the unknown geographical origin of Yiddish-speaking Ashkenazic Jews. They say, but their analysis demonstrates that Greeks, Romans, and Iranians and Turks exhibit the highest genetic similarity with Ashkenazic Jews. So Turks and Kurds really, when they say Iranians. So Ashkenazis are identifying with Europeans who are the sons of Japhet. And yet and still, people still say they're the Israelites. Dumbass people. All right. The most divine man that they tried to whitewash was Yahusha. This is another lie that the Gentiles have inherited. Let's get Revelation chapter 1, verse 14 through 15. Matter of fact, let's get that in the Berean Study Bible. It says this: the hairs of his head was white like wool. Not the head and his hairs like the King James Masoretic got you thinking he had a white head and woolly hair. And his eyes, it's like as white as snow. And his eyes were like a blazing fire. And his feet were like polished bronze refined in a furnace. And his voice was like the roar of many waters. Of course, white folks will try to play semantics and say it was just a metaphor. Read verse 16. No, the sharp double-edged sword was the word of Yah. Stop the BS, because when you read Hebrews 4 and 12, it talks about the word of Yah being a double-edged sword. So stop the BS. And his face was like the sun shining at his brightest. Couldn't have been a white person, because I've seen some gloomy looking white people, but I've seen some bright shining black people in the sun. So they need to stop that BS. But let's get into the concordance right quick. Revelation 1:14 through 15. It says this in the Strong's lexicons: the hair of his head was white like wool. Now let's see, like, probably an adverb of comparatives, which how it was like in the manner. So it's basically saying his hair was white and it was in the manner of wool, as white as snow. So he had a white afro, and his eyes were like a blazing fire. His eyes were red because he drank wine. You read Genesis 49, it'll tell you that Judah's eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth shall be white with milk. Now let's read Revelation 1:15. His feet were like, so that means similar to, resembling polished bronze. And they'll say, oh, it's because of the sandals. But a lot of pictures of the Russian icons they painted of Yahusha, whether they whitewashed or the real true black ones, he always painted him as barefoot. So who's really lying? Because the Romans wore they wore them bronze slippers as well. How come they didn't describe the Romans as feet like fine brass? Exactly. So it's saying his feet were similar to fine brass, refined in a furnace, and his voice was like the roar. It says probably akin or similar of many waters. You know, I had to freestyle off that one. But it clearly shows you that Yahusha was a black man. Matter of fact, we go to Matthew 2 and 13. It tells you that he went to go to Egypt. Get Matthew 2 and 13. He went to Africa to blend and mix black people. Here we go, Matthew 2 and 13 in the Strong's lexicon. When they had gone, an angel of Yahuwah appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, "Get up," he said, "take the child and his mother and flee." Flee means to escape, shun, meaning you're going to go hide to Egypt. So they'll say, oh, Egypt also is a Greek word that means bondage. No, it's talking about Mizraim in this verse. Y'all need to stop that semantics. Yahusha went to go hide in Egypt. He hit you. You can't hide no white man amongst a bunch of black people. Okay, now here we go. We're going to keep going until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. Now, it would have been easy to find him because the Romans were there. There were white people in Jerusalem. You know, there were the Romans who were white people in Jerusalem. So it would have been easy to find them because you got black and white people. It would have been easy to find them. And even in Medea's witness protection program, they even tell you, how the hell am I going to hide white folks in an area full of black folks? When the cops come, they pull up with black SUVs. You know what I'm saying? So it's black, you know. But since we done with the sons of Shem, let's go on to the sons of Ham. Okay, we're gonna go to Genesis 10 and 6. This is another lie that they've inherited. Sons of Ham, they try to make you think they try to say, now since quote unquote times have changed, they don't want to say the curse is on Ham because the black people are Canaan, or Canaan is black people. Now they want to say Canaan ain't white. We already know why they're doing it, because they see black folks are reading the scriptures. But they got to get as much Negroes as possible to stop saying that they Israel. But they can't stop this awakening. They can't. Genesis 10 and 6. The sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Now, these are all Africa. You know, Cush is Egypt. Cush is Ethiopia. Mizraim is Egypt. Put is North Africa, Libya. Canaan, obviously, North Africa, Northeast Africa, Israel. The land of Canaan was given to the Israelites, so that means Israel is in Africa. Here we go. Let's go. Now we already established with Perky, Rabbi de Elazar, that the sons of Ham were black like the raven. Salakia, excuse me. And here we go. Let's go to verse 13 and 14. And Mizraim begat Ludim, Ananim, Lebahim, and Naphtahim, Pastrusim, Keslahim, which is the Philistines. So the Philistines were a branch of Egyptians, and Caphtorim. So these were all black people, you know. Now let's go to the Bible dictionary, the Zondervan Bible dictionary, and also a few other witnesses as well. Here we go. Y'all excuse me. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So the dark races were Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Obviously not the Negroes. Now let's get the Bible Studies Tools website, the Ham. Now I want you to read this with me, babe. We've already established with Babylon and Timbuktu that Ham was all the sons of Ham were black. But let's look at this. 2 or 3 witnesses, a matter is established. That's already 2 witnesses. Let's get this third one. Ham, which means warm, hot, hence the south, also an Egyptian word meaning black, the youngest son of Noah. An Egyptian word meaning black. What? Nah. But let's look this up right quick. Let's see the semantics of these people. Now when you first search it up on Google, it'll say, since the 17th century, a number of suggestions have been made that relate to the name Ham to a Hebrew word for burnt, black, or hot, to the Egyptian word Ham for servant, the word Ham for majesty, or the Egyptian word Kemet for Egypt. Interesting. Now we're gonna go to etymology right here, because now since we see black folks waking up saying, well, all the sons of Ham were black, then if Israel was mistaken for a nation that was black, that means Israel is black, right? Here we go. Since the 17th century, a number of suggestions have been made that relate the name Ham to a Hebrew word for burnt, black, or hot. Now look at the semantics of Wikipedia. To the Egyptian word Ham for servant, or the word Hem for majesty, or the Egyptian word Kemet for Egypt. In 2004, David Goldenberg's The Curse of Ham, Race and Slavery in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam states that Goldenberg argues persuasively that the biblical name Ham bears no relationship at all to the notion of blackness as of now and is of unknown etymology. Bullshizzle-whiz. Bullshiggity. Okay. You know, and they'll say, well, the Egyptians were African, but they weren't African like that. Get out of here. Let's look up what African meant according to the Webster's African. Yeah, let's see what African means according to the Webster's dictionary, babe. Let's see, African. A member of an indigenous ethnic group of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, any native or inhabitant of Africa. Now, I'm gonna hold this right here. We're gonna go to Merriam-Webster's dictionary online. Let's see what African means. What does it say? A native or inhabitant of Africa. A person, especially a black person of African ancestry. Clear cut. Matter of fact, let's get Afro-Asiatic right quick. Let's see. It says designating of a family of African and Asiatic languages, including Berber, Cushitic, Semitic, Cad, and ancient Egyptian. Now, what the heck are Caucasian and Turkish Mongoloid-looking people? Because speaking Afro-Asiatic languages. Do you not know the definition of Afro-Asiatic? It means black people. Black people. Talking about black people, man. You know, and let's get the language Hebrew, because we've already established that Yiddish is a Slavic language. It's Russian, German, Indo-European. No, not Hebrew, but Semitic, Slovakia. Let's see what Semitic means. It says a major subfamily of the Afro-Asiatic family languages, usually divided into Eastern parentheses Akkadian, Northwestern, Canaanite, Aramaic, Hebrew, Central Arabic, and Southwestern, South Arabic, Ethiopic branches. Yeah, interesting. Now we're gonna look at Egypt right quick in the Britannica. Now my only question to y'all is, if we already know that the Arabs colonized Egypt, but those people that you see today are not the real Arabs, because the real Arabs are black. Those are Turks and Kurds and some people from other parts of Europe. You know, and the thing about it is, if they're the real Arabs, how come it's called, if they're the real Egyptians, how come it's called the Arab Republic of Egypt, or Cairo, Egypt, instead of the land of Ham? Because those people over there, they're not Hamites. So that don't make sense. Egypt in the Britannica, country located in the northeastern corner of Africa. Egypt's heartland, the Nile River Valley and Delta, was the home of one of the principal civilizations of the quote unquote ancient Middle East. See, I told you, Northeast Africa is the ancient, it's deemed Middle East by those people. Middle East of what? Where's the Middle West? Where's the Middle North? Where's the Middle South? They can't explain that to you though. Here we go. Was one of the sites of the world's earliest urban and literate societies. Pharaonic Egypt thrived for 3,000 years through a series of native dynasties that were interspersed with brief periods of foreign rule. After Alexander the Great conquered the region in 323 BC, urban Egypt became an integral part of the Hellenistic world as Greeks under the Greek Ptolemaic dynasty. See, now, a lot of that stuff they try to use to try to disprove the Egyptians being black, a lot of those statues are post-Hellenistic period and post-Greek and Roman conquering. You know, but when you look pre-Greek conquering, you'll see nothing but black people. And even afterwards, you saw black people. Under the Greek Ptolemaic dynasty, an advanced literate society thrived in the city of Alexandria. But what is now Egypt was conquered by the Romans in 30 BC. BCE, yep, Romans conquered it too. It remained part of the Roman Republic Empire and then Rome's successor, the Byzantine Empire, until its Arab Muslim armies in 639, 642 BC. Told you, conquered by the Arabs. But those ain't the real Arabs over there today. But it's already proof that Arabs conquered Egypt. So who are those people over there today? Now let's see. It says official name, Arab Republic of Egypt. Here we go. Capital, Cairo. Official language, Arabic. Hamites didn't speak Arabic though. That wasn't their main language. They spoke what they saw on those walls. When you read the Egyptian Book of the Dead, you saw things on the walls that only the people who lived there in that time could comprehend. Interesting, but let's see why this happened. Until the Muslim conquest, great continuity had typified Egyptian rural life. Despite the incongruent ethnicity of successive ruling groups and the cosmopolitan nature of Egypt's ruling urban centuries, The language and culture of the rural agrarian masses whose lives were largely measured by the annual rise and fall of the Nile River with its annual inundation had changed only marginal throughout the centuries. Following the conquest, both urban and rural culture began to adopt elements of Arab culture, and in an Arabic vernacular that eventually replaced the Egyptian language as the common means of spoken discourse. Moreover, since that time, Egypt's history has been part of the broader Islamic world, and through Egyptians continued to be ruled by foreign elite, whether Arab, Kurdish, Circassian, or Turkish. Didn't I just say that, baby? That those people over there ain't the real Arabs. They're Turks and Kurdish and Circassian people, European people. And the country's cultural millennia remained predominantly Arab. And here we go, last part. Egypt eventually became one of the intellectual and cultural centers of the Arab and Islamic world, a status that was fortified in the mid-13th century when Mongol armies sacked Baghdad and ended the Abbasid Caliphate. The Mamluk sultans of Egypt, who the country thrived for 7 centuries, established a pseudo, which really means not real, pseudo caliphate of dubious legitimacy. But in 1517, the Ottoman Empire defeated the Mamluks and established control over Egypt that lasted until 1798. The Ottoman Empire are the Turks, who also conquered Arabia. Interesting. Hmm. Mm, mm. You think I should keep going, baby? Yeah, I'll go keep going. The French occupation, which ended in 1801, marked the first time a European power had conquered and occupied Egypt. That's not true though, because Romans and Greeks are European. Egypt's strategic location has always been made a hub trade for routes between Africa, Europe, and Asia. But this natural advantage was enhanced in 1869, which they separated the so-called Middle East or Northeast Africa from the rest of the continent of Africa by opening the Suez Canal connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. Interesting. My only question is, how come those people over there can't understand the ancient Egyptian language, but only can understand Arab? Because those are not the real Egyptians. But the Egyptians over there today, they can still understand it. That's over there in southern Egypt. I think it's called Pathros. Now, here we go. Now, when you look up the modern Egyptians and the modern Jews, you'll see that they don't look alike. However, the people who are the real Egyptians and the Negroes today who are scattered look just like each other. Interesting. Now let's get Babylon to Timbuktu, page 30 and 32, and then we'll get Negro in the New World. And we got a few other sources to prove the Egyptians were black. But after that, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go. Let's go to Babylon to Timbuktu. Page 30. Here we go. The Egyptians are African and descendants of Hamites. All Hamites are the offspring of their father, Ham. The first Egyptian was called Mizraim according to the Hebrews. This Mizraim was a son of Ham. Ancient and modern scholars have established the location of Mizraim as Egypt. The word Mizraim is a plural form, meaning upper and lower Egypt. Bam. Now let's get by Harry H. Johnston, once again, a book. He made the book Negro in the New World. He also made this book called A History of the Colonization of Africa by Alien Races. Let's get that, page 2 and 3, about the Egyptians. About 3,000 years ago, a minute in the duration of the human genus, the distribution of African races was probably as follows: Egypt, Abyssinia, that's Ethiopians, Somaliland, that's Somalians, and the northern part of the Sahara Desert and all North Africa were peopled by Hamite races who in varied complexion from dark brown to yellow white. Now, yellow white is pretty much yellow bone, somebody the same color as Terrence Howard, you know. The Egyptians were black. Now, let's get another source, a source that white people who are racist as hell and just can't accept the fact that Egyptians are black love to discredit. Let's get Herodotus. He also mentioned about the Israelites too. What did he say? Let's see. Herodotus on Egypt, Ethiopia, and Colchians, which are Israel. Herodotus regarded the Colchians as an ancient Egyptian race. Herodotus states that the Colchians were ancient Egyptians and Ethiopians, and with the ancient Egyptians and Ethiopians were the first to practice circumcision. So, according to racist Europeans, Eurocentric Christianity theology, baby, they'll think that the Egyptians white, Ethiopians black, and the Colchians, the Israelites, are white. Hell out of here. Were the first practice circumcision, a custom which he claims that the Colchians inherited from remnants of the army of Pharaoh Setrosius or Senusret III. The Colchians are the Israelites. So Herodotus writes forward, it's plain to see that the Colchians are Egyptians. From what I say, I myself know it before I heard it from others. I know it before I heard it from others. When it occurred to me, I inquired of both peoples. The Colchians remembered the Egyptians better than the Egyptians remembered the Colchians. The Egyptians said that they considered the Colchians part of the Setrosius army. You know why? Because they look alike. I myself guessed it partly because they are dark-skinned and woolly-haired. Now, didn't we just read that the Greeks took over Egypt, baby? Mm-hmm. So you're going to try to discredit a nation of people, a guy from a nation of people who conquered and saw who the real Egyptians were, and try to go with your own racist, Eurocentric interpretation and theology. How you going to try to discredit a man who was there? He saw it with his own eyes. Exactly. They say partly because they are dark-skinned and woolly-haired, though that indeed counts for nothing since other peoples are. 2. But my proof that the Colchians and Egyptians and Ethiopians are the only nation that from the first practices circumcision. These claims have been widely rejected by modern historians. See, told you they were rejected widely by modern historians because the modern Eurocentric historians are racist. It is in doubt that Herodotus had ever been to Colchis or Egypt. Yet the Greeks took over Egypt, so you don't think that Herodotus himself, being a Greek, ever went to Egypt and saw the real Egyptians? Idiots. Now let's get another thing, history dealing with the Israelites, dealing with Tacticus. Then we're gonna go back to the Egyptians, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Tacticus. Some say that the Jews were fugitives from the islands of Crete who settled on the nearest coast of Africa about the time when Saturn was driven from his throne by the power of Jupiter. Evidence of this is sought in the name. There is a famous mountain in Crete called Ida. The neighboring tribe, the Idea, came to be called Judea by a barbarous lengthening of national name. Others assert that in the reign of Isis, the overflowing population of Egypt, black people, led by Hierosolomus and Judas, discharged itself into the neighboring countries. Many again say that they were a race of Ethiopian origin. They were a race of Ethiopian origin. Now they'll say, well, Tacticus, he only said it because other people said it. But he said that other people said it, but he said that it's clear that he saw he's seen the Judeans before. And he was probably asking around, who they come from. And he said that many people said that they come from Ethiopian origin. Y'all do, these people, these shucking Javas, and these racist Eurocentric urban apologetics and Christian theologians love to try to discredit anything that empowers black people because they know what they've done. And if we're the children of Israel according to the scriptures, which we are, they're the nations that the Most High is talking about recompensing. It's just as simple as that. But they try to have a sense of comfort in their mind because they know what they've done. They don't want to accept the fact that they did this to the children of Israel. But they want to believe that the people over there in Israel are the Jews today because they haven't done any harm to them, but instead to us. My. Let's get Amos 9:7. Matter of fact, in the Jewish Tanakh, we ain't even got to go to KJV. Let's get it in the Jewish Tanakh. Y'all excuse me, y'all. All right, Amos 9:7. Here we go. To me, O Israelites, you were just like the Ethiopians, declares Yahuwah. Now they'll say, oh, well, Zephaniah, now the camps will say, well, it's just a spiritual meaning. You know, you always got them heathens who know they're not Israel, but got to hold fast to the fact because they want to be a part of something. But ain't nothing wrong with you holding fast to keep the commandments of the covenant, bro. But just accept the fact that you're not Israel. Just do that. One favor for me. True, I bought Israel up from the land of Egypt, also from the Philistines from Caphtor, and from the Arameans from Kir. Now, in what way did he do this for the Ethiopians? He did it. He's saying we're just like the Ethiopians because we look just like them. You know, we don't know why y'all said it, but obviously he did it for us later on in time because he knew this would contribute to the awakening. Now let's get Amos 9:7 in the Concordance, Bible Hub, because everybody loves Bible Hub. Camps, Jewish people, white people who love to defend the Eurocentric Christianity lies. Here we go. Well, the Berean Study Bible says, are you not like the Cushites to me, O children of Israel? Are you not like the Cushites? They are. But they'll say Zephaniah 2:12. Well, Zephaniah 2:12 says that Ethiopian shall be slain by the sword. And that's talking about all of Ethiopia. Now, where did the Most High say he's going to slay all of Israel with the sword in the last days? I didn't think so. Here we go. Amos 9:7. He said, are you not like the Cushites to me, O children of Israel? Now let's see what Cushites mean in the concordance. Cushi or Ethiopian. See Cushan, their blackness. Our blackness, the color of our skin. Now, I just saw an episode of Maury, and I kept pointing out to my lady. I say, baby, she look Ethiopian. Now, I know I probably got on her nerves when I said that, but I kept saying, babe, she look Ethiopian. But she sound like your typical black girl. You know, she sound like your typical black girl, didn't she? And she was Ethiopian. I mean, she looked Ethiopian. And that right there just gave me like, wow, praise Yah. Like, just gave me a sense of just happiness and comfort. Like, wow, Amos 9:7 really means that. Let's get one more thing dealing with history about the Egyptians or the sons of Ham. Well, really Egyptians. And then we'll go back to the scriptures to show you how Egyptians are black. Here we go. This is out of the Oxford Encyclopedia of Ancient Egypt. Any characterization of race of the ancient Egyptians depends on modern cultural definition, not on scientific study. Thus, by modern American standards, it is reasonable to characterize the Egyptians as black while acknowledging the scientific evidence for the physical diversity of Africans. Now let's see who wrote the Oxford Egyptian Encyclopedia. It says J. Gwynne Griffiths, a white man. You can't refute your own people, but of course you try to refute them by saying that because you can't accept the fact that black people did all this stuff because you know what you did to us. Interesting. A white man. He was a dude from Germany too. He wrote this. And he went to Oxford University, which is a university where a lot of our sources come from, right, baby? a lot of historians' sources come from. It comes from just from that. And a lot of y'all use stuff from Oxford University too. So, hey, now let's get to these scriptures right quick. Let's see. They'll say, well, Egyptians aren't Hamites. Egyptians can't be. Well, let's see what the scriptures say. Let's go to Psalm 78:51. Here we go. And smote all the firstborn in Egypt, the chief of their strength in the tabernacles of Ham and the tabernacles of blacks. Because that's what it says. Now let's go to Psalms 105, verse 23. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Let's get verse 27. They shewed his signs among them, the wonders in the land of Ham. Basically, it's saying the land of blacks. The land of blacks. They try to say, oh, it just means the black soil. No, it means the land of black people. Stop the BS. All right, here we go. You now you're trying to refute your Eurocentric Christianity lies and your racism by trying to do more stuff. You know, here we go. Psalms 106 and 22. Wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Wondrous works in the land of blacks. Let's get another witness. 1 Chronicles 4 and 40. Here we go. And they found fat pasturing good, and the land was wide, quiet, and peaceable, for they of blacks had dwelt there of old, or they of Ham. Talking about Egypt. If you read the whole thingy thing, it's talking about Egypt. And with that being said, I want to give all praises to Yahuwah Elohim in the name of his only begotten son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Shalom. Oh, wait. Before I do that, hold on. Before I give y'all some shalom, let's go to the travels of Ludovico di Varthema to show y'all the sons of Shem. And we'll go back to the Negro in the New World also. Here we go. Page 17 of Ludovico di Varthema. It said, the said Arabians are very small men and of a dark and tawny color. Now, if you look up dark and tawny, it's clearly orangish, brownish. Sons of Shem, Arabians, black. Here we go. Page 23, dealing with the Jews. At the end of the 8 days, we found a mountain which appeared to be 10 or 12 miles in circumference, in which mountain dwelt there 4,000 or 5,000 Jews who go naked and are in height 5 or 6 spans, feminine voices, and are more black than any color. All right, and we're going to get one more out of Negro in the New World, and we out of here. Give me a second, y'all. Negro in the New World, page 27. Here we go. It is possible that on the verge of Arabia that the ancient basal stock of the generalized Negro parted and divided into two great streams of divergent immigration. One proceeded to Europe via Syria, and the other passed through Arabia to Egypt and tropical Africa. In Arabia or in Egypt may arose the difference between the long-headed African Negro and the rounder, short-headed Bushman, which Bushman is also a term they call black people. The last name becoming more habituated than his congeners to a life of arid deserts or scrubby open country. Here we go. We're going to go to page 29, Negro in the New World. It says this. Hamites, in parentheses, Egyptians, occupied Egypt from Arabia and pushed westward across the Libyan desert, mingling freely legged and pugnathous Negroes, thus called into existence mixed races like the Tibu, Nubian, Ethiopian, Mesa, and Robo, Hema, Gala, Somali, and Danakil. So the Egyptians were black, according to a lot of white, and these are racist white people who thought Negroes were inferior. But yet they say we're the special people of the planet, and that the Egyptians were black. I pray that y'all are edified, and I pray that y'all see through the lies and the BS that these people have been pushing to us for the past 401 years, almost 8 or 9 months, and 16 days. Grace and peace, shalom. All praises to Yah.